In this video, I talk with Chalene Johnson, and she shares her tips on how to grow your brand on Instagram in 2017, what some of the new trends and features that you need to know about are, and how to avoid the biggest mistakes that she sees most people make on Instagram. Coming up. Hey, what's up guys? Sean here with Think Media TV, helping you go further, faster in media. And on this channel, we do tech gear and video gear reviews, but also tips and strategy videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. But hey, I'm so pumped to be with Chalene Johnson today. How's it going?
It's going awesome.
Fantastic. If you're just meeting Chalene, she actually is a fitness celebrity, New York Times best-selling author, but also really helps people build their brand with social media, but specifically Instagram. She has an academy on Instagram, multiple different accounts. What exactly are some of the things that you've been doing on Instagram and your bio there?
Well, I think that in general, people can be very distracted by social media, and Instagram is one of the ways that people can figure out how to kind of entertain each of their interests and divide those and build them simultaneously, which I think we'll talk about. But I just love Instagram because it's so visual and it's quick, and people's attention spans are very short, and it speaks to a short attention span.
And I think one of the things when it comes to Instagram is actually not just your account, but on Instagram, you've built influence over multiple accounts.
Yes.
And so we'll get to that in just a bit, but she has a lot of great tips. I'm excited to jump into them, as well as what's new. And you mentioned kind of why Instagram, but what are the opportunities? Like, the skeptic might ask, can Instagram actually build my business and build my brand?
100%. And why I like Instagram, especially for people who are trying to build a brand, is oftentimes we're uncomfortable being the face of the brand. You know, maybe we think we're not smart enough, we're not good looking enough, not fit enough, whatever it is that we're not enough of. What's great about Instagram is it's very visual, and I think people miss the fact that it's so much like Pinterest. So when you go to start your own Pinterest page or you search on Pinterest, you're not necessarily looking for an individual, you're looking for inspiration, motivation, something that teaches you something you can copy, something that visually inspires you. And if we start thinking of Instagram in those terms, you don't feel as much pressure to be the face of it, which is why that's one of the things I teach is how to create a feature account.
Well, and let's just stop right there, because that's kind of, a huge deal when it comes to Instagram. What is a feature account?
Think about, let's use Sean as an example. So Sean loves gadgets and gear and technology, and that's of interest to him. He's also very passionate about his faith, and he's also a really gnarly snowboarder. So sometimes we think to ourselves, so what content do I put out there? Do I stick with one theme? Does it make sense for me to talk about this interest when my brand means this? And with Instagram, what I teach people to do is to set up individual accounts for each one of those interests, because it's very much like Pinterest. If I'm going to search for something that's motivational with regard to my faith, I just kind of want to see all of that on one page. And you don't have to mix that with your interest in snowboarding or your interest in technology. So I encourage people to set up accounts that are specific to one or a couple of related themes. So for example, I have an account that's just fashion. I have an account that's called Push Me Daily that's just motivational quotes, but you don't have to see me every day. I don't personally have to be the content. I can find content that pushes me and post it to that account. I have another account called Home Workouts for You. And all it is other people's great workout ideas that they're doing at home. And then I feature them on my account, and the account grows like huge exponentially because people like to have their stuff shared on a bigger account. And so it's a great way to kind of honor other people and to build eyeballs, influence around a topic that I can then later, let's say for example on Home Workouts for You, if I want to promote my own ebook or my own workout programs, I own the account. It's got hundreds of thousands of followers, and now that's a promotion that would relate to that content. So in other words, you can divide all of your interests, and each one of those interests can be its own individual account with less pressure on you to be in charge of all the content creation.
Wow, and this is fascinating. So for me, I have a Sean Cano account, but it is kind of personal. I show life, I show this, but you mentioned gadgets. I could create an Instagram account called Gadget Love.
Totally.
And it could be announcements of gadgets, cool pictures of gadgets. They may never see Sean, and Sean might not be mentioned, but then as I build that influence there, anyone who loves gadgets might follow that account. I could also say, hey, go check out this video, link in the bio, and potentially link to my own stuff.
Exactly, 100%.
That's super, super powerful. That's cool. So that's feature accounts. But what are some of the new things that have actually been happening with Instagram specifically this year?
Yeah, so Instagram is definitely in 2017 going through some growth and growing pains, if you will. I think they're going to come into their own. As you probably know, Instagram launched a couple of new features this year. One specifically aimed at Snapchat, where they tried to, and they really have done a pretty good job of introducing stories. So very much almost identical to Snapchat. We find that many people just look at Instagram stories. They're not even looking at the feeds anymore. They're just going onto Instagram and looking at who's updated their Instagram story. And that's a great way for Instagram to become more interactive than those people who are using Instagram and just looking at their feed. Instagram stories are great, but they're a little different from Snapchat in that you don't find somebody on Snapchat unless you already know them and then you want to know more about them. Different on Instagram. Instagram, I might just have started following your gadget account and I'm interested in the gadgets, but then I'm like, who's the guy? Like, I don't even want to know the person behind the brand. I want to see, if I'm following that account, I want more of the type of content which I've come to know this account for. So I think a mistake people make on Instagram stories is they assume it's Snapchat, and it's not. It's a different platform. So if you're going to use Instagram stories, remember why people are following your main account. And if you're posting that kind of content, then just make it come to life in stories.
I love that. So then let's talk basic best practices. I want to grow my brand this year. I want to, meet more people, have greater influence.
Yeah.
What are some of the best practices for Instagram?
In 2017, the practices really are tried and true as they have been, which is interaction. You've got to not just post and expect people to show up. When someone leaves a comment, it's replying back to them, it's thanking them. Now, again, another new feature is the ability to heart comments. So even if you don't necessarily reply to every comment, it's a great idea to at least go in and tap the heart for each person who's left you a comment. And then make it not all about you. If somebody's left you a comment and you're working to build your account, click on their name, go back to their page and leave a comment under one of their last photos and videos. It's reciprocity, where we feel like if someone's been taking the time to spend a little time on our page, that we should do the same for them. And I guarantee it's one of the easiest ways to get yourself a true follower.
I love that. What about consistency on Instagram? How often should people post ideally?
Yeah. Okay, so that's where I think Instagram is trying to find its feet. Because we know from our own research inside of, I have an academy for Instagram Impact, we have studied and polled our members and found that people tend to either use the Instagram feed or stories. Not too many people are going back and forth between both. So you kind of have to decide where you want to spend your focus and use each one the right way. For stories, less is better. Unlike Snapchat, where people might, do 70, 80 snaps in a day, on Instagram, we find that people roughly between 5 and 7 individual stories is about the sweet spot. After that, you see the numbers dramatically drop off. So keep in mind that your content should really deliver, more so even than on Snapchat, in your IG stories. When it comes to your actual IG page, I recommend that people post at least once a day, and try to post it about the same time. And there's some great statistics that you can see now with Instagram Business, where you can actually see when your followers are online, what countries they come from, what types of posts they're interacting with the most. And don't be confused by the fact that you're going to get fewer likes on your videos than you will your photos. It's just easy for people to like a photo, whereas a video, we have to look at it, tap it to make it play, maybe tap it again or fool with our phones to turn up the volume. And by then, we've moved on. So even though it didn't get a like, that doesn't necessarily mean it didn't connect with your viewers. I still think that video, where it's appropriate, is the best way to connect with people. And then, of course, there's Instagram video. I mean, live.
You just mentioned that. Two things I wanted to grab is one, you mentioned the business page. And so maybe some people are seeing, who has the option to turn it in? It's either a personal page now, or you could turn it into a business, kind of like a fan page.
Right.
What should people do?
If you're in business, you should turn it into a business page. In fact, I'm not really sure why I would tell anyone not to, even if you don't have a business, because it gives you all of those insights that we were so accustomed to getting on Facebook. Now we have those insights on Instagram as well. So why not use, more information helps you to decide the best content to produce.
I love that. And then you were talking about videos. So now we have Instagram photos, still photos.
Yeah.
We could upload videos to our page.
Yes.
Then we also can do video content through stories.
Yes.
And then even quirky things like boomerang and whatnot. What's kind of a tip across all of those? What's a best practice for a great photo or a great post? Best practice for a great video, etc.
If Instagram is going to stumble a little bit this year, it's because they're trying to be everything. And they started off as a photo app, and now they're photo, live streaming, stories.
It's everything,
so
yeah.
I think you have the option of picking and not feeling as though you have to do all of them. I will say this, across all platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or Instagram, whatever latest feature they've rolled out is the one that they're going to push into the eyeballs of the people who are using that app. So at the moment that we're recording this video, it is Instagram Live. So if you go live on Instagram, people receive a notification. And this may be the first time they're actually catching you live and figure out who you are. It's a great way to connect. And you're going to get more eyeballs, more engagement, and perhaps deepen your relationship. So I would encourage people not to be afraid to go live. And I think that's, at the moment, I think that's the most powerful way to build brand connection, message connection on Instagram. Aside from that, I would say photos. They've got to be clear, they've got to be beautiful, and they need to represent your brand. Here's what happens. Your photo shows up on our, it's not called the Explore page, right? Yeah. So you've got to capture someone's attention. How do you stand out, right? So you want to think about what's grabbing your attention. So when you look, just do this today. Look at your phone, open up the Explore page and say, what grabs your attention? What is it about that photo? Why? How can you recreate that to draw the same kind of people to your page? And then once you do that, you know how this works. You go, oh, I don't know who that person is. This is an interesting photo. You tap on it. Then you look at their page as a whole. Now, if there's nothing else on their page that looks like the thing that you just fell in love with, you're not going to follow them. But if the page represents some things in the same theme, and I realize this is generally the type of content this person posts, and it looks consistent, and it's pretty visually, like it's appealing to the eyes, then you're going to follow that person. So consider what your page looks like, not just in terms of your last post, but your last, I think it's probably 12 posts. And what does that look like when someone's looking at? Because that's how we decide, do I follow this person, or is this just a lucky, interesting photo? Well,
and that's the power then of feature accounts, right? Because if you have a personal account, maybe someone saw a picture of my Chihuahua Rosie on a feature page, clicks through, but then is like, man, this guy's talking about tech all the time. So if you're all over the place, maybe you could gain a follower, but you lose one. But if you created a feature account, either all about Rosie and Sophie, maybe I should do that. They're pretty cute.
They're adorable.
They could build some influence. But or maybe that's your niche and you have access to a lot of different dogs and it was like just a Chihuahua channel. Well, then Chihuahua lovers from around the world.
Those are huge feature accounts. All pet channels. Oh my gosh, they're huge.
So there's something that's really such a huge step. Maybe you need to start another account in 2017. Maybe.
For sure you should.
Okay, yes, start a feature account. And that's where your focus is going to be, that people could follow. And maybe they're not interested in what you ate for lunch and then the movie you went to see. And then you have that beautiful photo of the landscape thing. But then constantly like gaining your audience, but then losing them because of all that content. I love that tip.
I would like to give people a power tip, if I may. And that is feature accounts are the easiest accounts to build from so many perspectives. Number one, it doesn't have to be you. You don't have to go like, how can I be creative and cute today? Number two, you can outsource all of it. So most of my feature accounts are operated by a virtual assistant, typically someone who we can pay below minimum wage because they're in a country where that's like living large, And I can just give them instructions like, okay, I want you to find amazing videos of people working out at home, reach out to those people, ask them if they'd like to be featured on our account. I trust them to find great content, train them at first, and then they're populating that page, they're doing all the work, yet those subscribers still belong to my business and my brand. And so I think we've got like 5 now, different feature accounts that allow us to tap into a niche without taking up my time to create the content. And people love to be featured. That's what's crazy. Like, wouldn't you love it if you're like, oh my God, my dog is on this feature account page. You'd be so proud, you know? And that's how people react when their content gets shared by another page.
Wow, that's super, super powerful. Now, let's kind of bring this into the practical. What are some case studies, success stories? Not only have you trained hundreds and thousands of people on how to use Instagram, and people have been through your courses, but like, make it real. Like, what did they do? Like, in what niche did they do to get some results to build a brand with Instagram?
Oh, there's so many. But one of my favorites is a gal by the name of Michelle Myers. This is a great story. And, started off by just applying the principles, a lot of what we're speaking about here, but also struggling with the fact that she was starting another business that reaching out to people who are female entrepreneurs who have a strong faith and want to live according to the Bible, and how to put those two things in practice together. But by the same token, not scare away by talking about her religion and her faith on her personal page. So she started a separate account called She Works His Way. And now her personal account is where she can post things so you know who she is, but without everything being in there. Pictures of her kids, her dogs, family. And then from time to time, she might promote her other account, which is She Works His Way. But She Works His Way is really devoted to faith. And in addition to that turned into another business where people loved the phrases and the inspirational quotes that she was using. So she developed a clothing line and started a clothing line, selling t-shirts with inspirational faith-based phrases on the t-shirts. And that account has over 30,000 followers. And now it's basically like a catalog. It's girls posing in the apparel. Again, doesn't have to be her, with a link that goes directly to the bio. It takes people directly to the store and they can buy directly from her store. So those are 3 accounts, each of which is over 30,000. So to have, you think, well, gosh, am I dividing people's attention? I think what you're doing is allowing one Instagram account to very specifically target someone who's looking for that.
Wow, that's so good. Now, and I love that, because in that case, my next question is, how do you monetize, if you're building your brand? And that was a great example. Well, the clothing line is one way, but what are some of the other ways that someone's thinking about how they could monetize specifically off of Instagram?
Absolutely. Well, for example, a male personal trainer who realized that when he was posting pictures of himself working out, it just wasn't getting very many likes or comments. So he started featuring women who were into building strength and into fitness, and featuring very powerful, inspirational women. That account grew so fast, so quick, that it has nearly 1 million followers today.
Wow.
How does he monetize it? By now, what he does is he offers people promotion. So if you want to be featured on that account, you pay to be featured. So if you want your home workout that you're doing in your living room to be featured on his account, being viewed by thousands of followers, you'll pay a fee, and then it's a win-win. So he's really using it now as advertising. And then of course there are so many Instagrammers who have huge accounts who you don't realize it, but they're being paid by major brands to feature anything from avocados to the hotels and resorts that they're staying at, the clothes that they're wearing, and they feel very native. They're not going to say like, "Oh, go buy this watch." They're just wearing the watch. I just love this watch, and there's so many Instagram folks who have done that by building feature accounts or just by being there first. But it's never too late to build on Instagram. Yeah,
that's so good, and so that's cool. You could Instagram directly on Instagram, you build some influence and then monetize it there, or drive traffic to a business. And that could be anything. I mean, if you want to sell a book, if you've got a course, if you've got a brick and mortar business, there's things you could do locally. There's so many different ways. So I love that. Well, obviously there's so many more tips about Instagram and whatnot. But how can people connect with you? I mean, and what are some of the resources you have available for that, and just in general?
Awesome. Well, I think you can find some great tips by following me on YouTube. We've done a bunch of Instagram videos there to just give you some great tips. If you're interested in my course that I offer, it's called getimpact.com. And of course, follow me on Instagram. There, my main account is Chalene Johnson. But if you want to see a feature account, which might be kind of fun, you could follow Push Me Daily on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely great things to check out. As usual, we'll link everything up in the description. So we'll summarize some of even the examples. So I think those will be insightful. You could look at some of the things Chalene mentioned, check out her stuff. And I think that could really spark some creativity for what you're doing and how you could use Instagram to build your influence this year. Chalene, could you do like a final kind of just an encouragement to get out there and to, build, for people to build their influence, to punch fear in the face?
Yes, and punch fear in the face. This would be my tip to you. Start a feature account today. I mean, what harm is it? All that it's going to take of you is a new email address. So get a new Gmail address so you can open up a new Instagram account. And I want you to start a feature account that is the type of content that you keep looking at on Instagram. What is that? Is it dogs? Is it puppies? Is it sunsets? Is it workout tips? Is it vegan recipes? Whatever it is you're looking at, I want you to start a feature account in the next 24 hours that just represents that thing that you keep going to look at on Instagram.
Love it, love it. Chalene, thanks so much for being on. And hey, Think Media TV community, question of the day. What are you doing on Instagram right now? What is your niche? Go ahead and post that in the comment section below. Good. And thanks again so much for watching. Definitely subscribe for more videos just like this to help you go further, faster in media. And until next time, keep crushing it, and we will talk soon.
How was that?
All right.
Dang.
Chalene Johnson.
You talk fast.
It was, I lost my flow.
It's like an auctioneer. Hey, we got 200 over here, 200, we got 300 over here.